Hey everybody, it's Kit here. Oh boy. Chapter 19. Oh dear. Man, I'm still not doing great at all. But we are close and we will keep going. Anyway, so hope everybody's having a better Tuesday than I likely will be. Yeah. Anyway, project today is a birthday present for a friend. And oh yeah, the just real quick, if anyone remembers this Hufflepuff looking scarf thing that we made, all of the goodies for that friend got to her, so I can actually show off the full whatever. So hopefully by the time people are watching this, I will have posted that photo, probably like the community thing and maybe to Twitter, so if anyone's interested in that. But yeah, so another friend, another birthday. It's a moon chart thingy. So yeah, this is the second attempt because my edges, everything started getting curvy and weird and I didn't like it. But yeah, so I really hope y'all can't hear that fan going absolutely insane behind me. I really hope not. Sorry, my brain. It has been fuzzy for 48 hours. I have a feeling it will continue to be fuzzy, and it's just going to make making, life difficult. Anyway, previously on this, we had, what did we have? That's a great question. Secrets in Plain Sight. Yes. Great question. Why I named it that title. Anyway. And it was about essentially the aftermath of Halloween. It was not good, not pretty. The adults did icky things, and all in all, it's a chapter that just really needs to be redone. But at the end, Vivian, Montague, and Charlotte Deed got into it pretty badly, which left Charlotte running away crying. Eli was like, what the hell? Ran after her, tried to figure out what the hell's going on, and Charlotte told her to basically buzz off, and Eli at that point was very much done, just went down to her office, fell asleep, and she woke up in a memory. And so, chapter 19, A Hidden Tale, is, that. So let's get into it. Before I change my mind. Just so you know, this is a sad one. This is a very sad one. I don't... How do I put it? There's not how do I put it? It's not a trigger warning, but just in the sense of it does display child death. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. So, yeah. Anyway. It was sunny and the air smelled of spring flowers. Birds flew overhead, and as I materialized on the sidewalk, two moms out for a jog going right through me. As soon as the dizziness went away and my nose stopped tingling, I looked around, squinting in the bright rays of the sun. I can't English already. 3 sentences in? 3 sentences in. I was in a gorgeously modern subdivision of a wealthy neighborhood. Mansions surrounding me with fancy landscaping and beautiful flower beds in wonderful bloom. A little girl with blonde curls was skipping in the lawn in front of me, trying to chase butterflies. Her giggles and squeals filled the air, and she looked so carefree and happy. Curious, I got closer, realizing she was the one I was here for, to watch and learn from. Samantha, Sweetheart, how did you get outside? You know your mother doesn't want grass stains on your beautiful dress. Come play inside. A strict voice called out, and both Samantha and I turned to look at a stern nanny with the gaze of a hunting hawk standing on the front porch, dark oak front door slightly ajar behind her. Samantha nodded respectfully, waving goodbye to the butterflies as she skipped to the woman who showed her inside. I followed, watching in thoughtful silence as I stepped right through the door. The nanny disappeared, and Samantha giggled to herself, then with a furtive look around her, began to sneak like a ninja up the stairs, hunched over and quiet. She was clearly having a good time as she tiptoed down the house. Oh, sugar honey. Tiptoed down the upstairs hallway. The light lavender walls tastefully decorated with regal family pictures. As Samantha paused and hid in a little reading alcove under some stairs, tucked neatly away into the wall to hide from some passing women, oh my god, in maids' uniforms, I took the opportunity to closely examine a framed photo. A spark of recognition ran through me as I stared at a much younger Vivian and Samuel and recognized their parents as Susan and Charles Montanet with little Samantha at their feet. Little footsteps alerted me to the fact that Samantha was once again sneaking down the hall, her small hand pulling at a doorknob before pushing it quietly open. There was Charles Montanet busy typing away at a computer sitting at a large mahogany desk. The room was clearly his study, ornate drapes covering most of a wall window, so only some sunshine peeked through. Gleaming bookshelves that looked brand new covered in the rest of the burnt red walls with a stiff-looking fainting couch pushed against a wall. This was the office of a wealthy, successful man. Samantha approached her father with the charming smile of a 5-year-old. "Daddy, will you play with me?" Her little hands tugged at his white, neatly pressed button-up shirt sleeve, giving it a slight wrinkle near the cuffs. He sighed a long and stressed sigh, but his fingers never stopped busily hammering away at his keyboard, eyes never straying from the large monitors taking up his desk surface. "You know I would love to, Samantha, but I am busy. Go play with your dolls in your bedroom." That's just okay. I was gonna, actually. Charles didn't notice as her chocolate brown eyes, filled with happiness, slowly drooped and glimmered with tears. Her bottom lip quivering as she quietly left the room and shut the door behind her. He never looked up once, not straying from his work except to fix his shirt sleeve, the little wrinkles of a hopeful 5-year-old girl gone just like that. Samantha bit on her pink bottom lip, taking a breath before her eyes brightened and she ran down the hallway again, flying down the stairs, not even slowing down when the maids worried she would fall, calling softly after the little girl. She slid a little, her white dress shoes sliding on the marble floor as she grinned, once again having fun before pushing the big white French doors open as she bounded into the master bedroom. Susan Montanet was standing in front of a gold triple mirror, talking on the house phone pressed between her shoulder and her ear, her black hair tumbling down her back in elegant loose curls. She was dressed in a white silk robe, critiquing a summer dress as she held it against her body before discarding it with the many others on the large canopy-covered bed. The many different dresses, a splash of color against the dark emerald green duvet and black mounds of pillows. The room sported a variety of grays and greens. Samantha's little blue dress and white tights with green grass knee stains standing out as she approached her mother with eagerness. "Hello, British English. We did not miss you. I don't even want to know how many I have had to correct this entire time." "Mommy, can I play dress up with you? I love those dresses." I felt my heart squeeze in sympathy for little Sam, because I knew what her mother would say, judging by the annoyed look in her brown eyes, the same one she shared with her 5-year-old daughter. "Hold on a moment. Not now, Samantha. Mommy has to get ready for luncheon with her friends and doesn't have time to play with you. Go find your brother or get one of the servants to play with you. Mommy loves you, though, okay? Yes, I am here. I will be ready in 5. Susan continued to talk on the phone, completely ignorant that Samantha was nearly in tears, dejectedly walking out of the room, her blonde curls covering her face as she stared at her little feet. all I could do was helplessly watch because I had a feeling I knew how this would end. There was no Samantha living with us at the rest of the dorm, with the rest of us at the dorms. I never knew the Montagnais had another child. It was sad to see how Samantha was being rejected by her busy parents, then got her hopes up again and again, going through her life with an innocence only a child could see. It was truly heartbreaking. Yes, it is. Once again, her eyes lit up with hope and another idea, and she ran, running down another grand staircase, squealing with excitement as she ran into a huge gaming room decked out in a light blue and easily any guy's dream come true. That does not... Okay, that's just not a good sentence. They had everything. Even a locked alcohol cabinet. The bar fully stocked with soda, taps, and ice. A huge flat-screen TV hanging on the wall, and every single gaming system available at this point in time, which was a few years ago by my reckoning, as I examined the game titles neatly alphabetized in a cabinet nearby. 8-year-old Samuel was currently playing a racing game with... I think his name was Jackson. Yes, Jackson Glassman. Another Coven kid. They were being loud and rambunctious like boys are, and Samuel groaned when his sister bounced on the balls of her feet in front of them, blocking the TV. "Out of the way, Sammy! You're blocking the TV!" Samuel groaned, the boys moving on the couch to see around her. Samantha's bright smile dimmed a little, and she asked cautiously, fearing the answer, if she would join them. Again, she was shot down, and I wanted to wake up. I didn't want to see how this ended. Who else does not want to see how this ends? I know how it ends, and I don't want to see it. No, Sammy, we're too busy to play with you. We want to play alone, and not with your stupid dolls. Samantha gasped, her eyes wide, and her little hand covering her mouth. Samuel, you said a bad word! Groaning in frustration, Samuel paused the game and threw his controller down before steering his little sister out of the big room, giving her a little push towards the stairs. Look, Sammy, I'll play with you later, okay? But, hey, Charlotte and Vivi are out in the garden. Why don't you go play with them? Gnawing on her lip again, she nodded, and Samuel went back to his friend and racing game. I followed as Samantha silently climbed up the stairs, eyes lighting up with her childish hopes once again as she ran out of the open French doors, a slight breeze picking up her hair as she ran into the perfectly manicured grass. Sure enough, Charlotte and Vivian, both much, much younger and friendlier than they were now, were talking on a stone bench behind a large fountain with running water. Both girls immediately stopped talking as Samantha ran up to them, a big smile on her delicate face. I sighed, already knowing what would happen. I'm so sorry, Sammy. Yeah. Vivi, Carrie, can I play with you guys? Big chocolate eyes stared up imploringly at them. Vivian sighed quietly, her gray eyes flickering annoyance, much like her brothers had done only 5 minutes ago. Hello, goodbye. Only this time Carrie nudged Viv, a genuine smile on her face as she said yes to Samantha, who danced and squealed with excitement. Come on, Viv. We can talk later. We can go play tag or something, right? Viv perked up, a mischievous glint in her eyes as she grinned at Charlotte. Hey, Sammy, let's play hide and seek. We will count and you go hide. Rolling her eyes and shaking her head, Char stood up, sighing softly at Viv. Samantha noticed nothing, squealing once again in utter excitement as she finally had someone who would play with her. Please don't, Viv. Please don't do it. I silently begged, knowing it was useless. Okay, you go hide and I will count starting now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vivian began counting, her hands covering her eyes, as Samantha put her hand to her lips in a shushing sign at Charlotte, who winked at her. Then the little girl was running away as fast as her little fair legs could take her, running to the other side of the garden. I stayed behind long enough to see that, sure enough, Charlotte poked Vivian, who immediately stopped counting, and the girl shared a laugh. That was really kind of mean, Viv, Char began, snaking her arms together with Viv's as they walked towards the large mansion. Oh, I think I just brushed y'all, sorry. Yeah, I know, but now we can continue our conversation without little ears. And she won't hide forever and won't stray too far. She knows better. She's 5, Vivian. No! No! She doesn't know better! I wanted to scream and shake her, but I had to run after Samantha, who had just jumped a hedge. The hedge separating her yard, a safe haven full of sunlight and watchful eyes, and the shaded little woods area on the other side. I was starting to get a bad feeling as I ran through the hedge, easily catching up with her. The dirt floor was uneven, fallen limbs and leaves scattered about as little forest animals bounded away from the giggling little girl invading their home. Sunlight penetrated through the leaves above, providing enough light to see, and what I saw I didn't like. Samantha was running through dark purple mushrooms, a common home to forest sprites. Nasty little things who were darn near impossible to catch and liked to bite. They were very territorial, quick, and their venom stung worse than a bee's. And if enough of them bit you, I didn't want to think about the outcome. Samantha had slowed down now, finding a nice big tree trunk to hide behind with more of those conspicuous mushrooms gathered around her. She stood there peeking around the tree trunk, trying not to giggle too loudly. She was having fun again. I got close to the mushrooms and watched with sad eyes as the air just above them shimmered slightly. The forest sprites were awake and hunting. Hunting a little 5-year-old girl who knew no better, whose family had no idea what they had done by telling her no. I watched, helpless as the first of many, bit her exposed arm. "Ow, a puppy bit me!" she cried softly, keeping her voice down as she inspected her skin and scratched at the rising bump. A little drop of clear venom trickling down her skin. But soon enough she was silent as she waited for her sister to come find her, but never would. I sat down on the ground, frustration spewing inside of me as Sammy waited there for hours. Hours. When she got tired, she sat down, her eyes still holding on to that foolish spark of hope that she was winning, that her sister would come begging her to come out. Sammy had won, but she had no idea of the cost, as more and more buggies bit her, more and more bumps rising on her arms and legs. When nighttime fell and the crickets chirped, that little spark of hope left her eyes and she cried. The forest sprites had gone back to their mushroom homes, damage done and work complete. They had eaten well, junk on the blood of a little girl who they had just doomed to die. Fickle creatures indeed. If I ever was here, I would come back and burn them. Every last single mushroom for Sammy. She was already showing the warning signs. A sheen of sweat covered her pale, shivering skin, a clear sign of the fever breaking out, and her lips were turning slightly blue. Her eyes had dark shadows under them, but I knew it wasn't from lack of sleep. She was dying. Would be dead before midnight. Tears continued streaming down her eyes as she limped home, her beautiful blue dress with a big bow on the back, dirty and torn. Back at the house, people were looking for her hours after they should have. "Samantha Victoria Montané! Where have you been?" "Oh my goodness, she's sick," her mother scolded, along with her father, siblings, and Charlotte, watching this with blank faces. No guilt. I felt sick to my stomach as I watched little Sammy, a happy little girl, sway and hit the marble floor, having a seizure as the venom finally reached her heart. After that, it was chaos, people rushing around to get towels, call the hospital ward, an ambulance, anyone and anything that might help. Charlotte was dragged forward, the screams of Susan and Charles deafening as they begged her, ordered her to save their daughter, to take away her pain and heal her. An 8-year-old. To heal a 5-year-old girl who had been bitten by a colony of forest sprites. Venom that in small doses was nasty, that even an amateur healer would have difficulties with. But a little girl who barely had any magic? She had no chance. This was the mysterious feud between the Deeds and the Montanés. This was why Vivian and Charlotte were always at each other's throats. Because they had screwed up and expected Charlotte to do the impossible, and she failed. A small hand tugged on the back of my shirt, and I looked down, swallowing thickly as a healthy Sammy smiled up at me. She took my hand, holding it tightly as we both watched Charlotte struggle, Carrie made the pain go away. She made sleepy time easy. She made sleepy time easy. It made sense as I watched Charlotte desperately clinging to Sammy's limp hand, now motionless. Charlotte wouldn't have been able to heal Samantha, but she would have been trying. She took the last of Samantha's dying pain away and made death a little easier for her, all probably without knowing it. What would have been an agonizing death was just painless. Horribly sad, but that didn't explain the little girl holding my hand. Sammy, why are you here? Why aren't you sleeping? I gently asked her, crouching down to her level. Those big brown eyes stared innocently into mine. Their yelling makes me sad. Vivi and Carrie don't talk anymore, and Mommy and Daddy cry. Why are they crying? My heart stuttered and plummeted. How do you explain to a 5-year-old what death is? That they are crying because she isn't around anymore? That they are guilty that they didn't play with her? So, Vivi and Carrie's arguments keep you awake? She nodded slowly, those eyes sad, but curious, as she viewed her own death. How many times had she seen this, but not truly understood this? She was staying behind, unable to move on because her family had no closure, because her big sister and her sister's friend weren't friends anymore. Sammy tugged on my hand, getting my attention and keeping me from crying. Maybe you can help Vivi and Carrie be friends again? They can play dress up and do homework together like they used to, and make cupcakes and watch cartoons, and she continued jabbering away eagerly as my eyes widened. She wanted me to make 2 girls who really didn't like me and despised each other friends again? I felt like I wanted another go with the demon maze. But if she could finally move on. Sammy, if Vivi and Carrie are friends again, and your mommy and daddy don't cry much anymore, do you think you could sleep? She stopped talking at once, nodding eagerly before yawning a little, rubbing her eyes with her free hand. Yes, I am tired, but Mommy never reads me a bedtime story, even though I ask and ask her to. Maybe when you make Vivi and Carrie friends again, you can read it to me instead? Please, I can't sleep without it, she begged and begged, jumping up and down. Behind her, the real Samantha was lying lifeless on the floor as her family surrounded her, tears falling from their faces before the anger made its way to their hearts. Anger aimed at innocent 8-year-old Charlotte. A tear fell from my eyes as I nodded, squeezing her hand softly. Oh, thank you. You're the best, Eli. You're the best, Eli. That was the last words I heard before the world went spinning around me and I fell out of my desk chair, awake and more exhausted than ever with tears wetting my cheeks. I knew their secret now.
Keelan.
Sorry about that. I have no idea where we were. Okay. Okay, I think we were here. That was the last words I heard before the world went spinning around me, and I fell out of my desk chair, awake and more exhausted than ever with tears wetting my cheeks. I knew their secret now. It was awful. And somehow, I had to fix it. Somehow. Oh boy. That is a tall order. So that was chapter 19. Ooh. Sad. Poor Sammy. Yeah. So, Eli now, on top of everything else, with Dracula's button, drama with the coven, the brooch at school, now has to figure out how to help a 5-year-old ghost. Oh dear. Oh, yep. Yep, never mind. Oh, and there's more coming, but yeah. I have to say, I do like that chapter, even if it is sad. It definitely kind of needs to be rewritten a little bit. I had the thought before I started reading the chapter, I'm gonna have likely more chapters in the rewrite. And I'm gonna have to figure out chapter names. I'm not good at that. I don't really feel like I'm good at anything right now. Yeah. Kind of realized that last night what I'm feeling is just really alone right now. I have been blessed enough to have had 3 individuals at one point in my life that I felt completely comfortable with sharing this part of myself. The first one was an online friend, and she actually read Lost in Time. I think she read everything that I put on Wattpad, commented and everything else. And when we moved here to Texas, we kind of lost contact for a while, but I still have the photos and stuff of me just like going off on all sorts of like ideas and stories and this and that, and like her reactions and responses and stuff. And it just, yeah. And then I met 2 other people, and unfortunately things happened with one of them last year, which is why I started this series. And then this last time, stuff happened with D&D. And I'm trying to get back that level of trust with the person from last year. But then feelings got hurt again. And then the last person that I had, the only person left, said something that wasn't necessarily derogative about my writing, about my books, or anything like that. It hit really hard. Because what they said was, I can't write slapstick. I can't write funny, good vibes, good feeling, like slapstick. Like, Kit, I love you, but you can't. And it was just like, I had actually shared with them a D&D campaign idea that would have fit that bill, and like they either forgot about it or they knew or whatever. I mean, I had it all basically in the process of being worked on, set up where, you know, my D&D folks could look at it and stuff, and no one ever responded or anything. And then just when that was said, with everything else that happened, I just feel very alone right now. 17, 18-year-old me would probably be very disappointed in me, honestly. I can't blame her. I always wanted to be published and stuff. And then life happened, and I just kind of got out of writing, and then I struggled, and then self-esteem issues hit, and here I am at 26. And it's just really hard to share. I want to share. I do. I would love to be published, but I don't feel like anything I'm ever going to do is good enough. Writing is the one thing for me that I have found out. I mean, I love crocheting, love YouTube content, love gaming, you know, my archery, even though I don't really get to do that anymore because Texas isn't good for it. The PRS shooting that my dad and I are getting into, yeah, I love all of that. It's great, it's good, but storytelling, D&D and writing, that's my heart and soul. And right now I just feel like it's completely shattered, and it was like I was putting it back together with glue or duct tape, but the duct tape broke, or somebody intentionally smashed it, or the glue didn't quite get done drying and then I dropped it. Like, I don't know when this feeling's gonna go away. All I know is I miss that trust, and I miss being able to just share. I mean, I have all sorts of notes on my phone for the rewrite, and I'm trying to get them all situated. And I'm lucky if I can manage to fix them up 5 minutes before I cry. Before really bad thoughts get in my head. I haven't felt this alone in a long time. But I'm still here and I'm still trucking. Sorry, that just went really deep. Then again, I guess that is what this series is, isn't it? Anyway, okay, so I will be here reading chapter 20. We are 20 chapters in. 164 of 207 pages, and I think there's only 5 chapters left. But I think what we'll do, because there is like an epilogue that's like maybe 3 pages, so when I read the final chapter, I might just include the epilogue, and that just might be a longer episode. But yeah. But yeah, I liked that chapter. I think I'll make things, well, obviously I'm gonna make things different, better, all that. But yeah, I guess let me know what you think. Or don't. It's perfectly fine. I will be here next week. At this point, it is just one day at a time, one video at a time, because it is slowly getting to a point for me where I just need reasons to get up in the morning, other than responsibilities, and, well, I mean, my dogs are probably one of the only good ones, but making videos is, you know, good, so that's, yeah, anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you guys are doing okay. I really hope we're not down this rabbit hole together, but if we are, despite how bad I sound and everything else, I know I will be okay because I always am. It's just a bad season, you know? And I know it's going to be that way for you too. But we can do this. We can do this, alright? Love you guys. I'll see you guys next week, possibly. I don't know. Bye.